The main event of WWE Raw has sent shockwaves through the wrestling universe as tensions reach a boiling point and the foundation of Paul Heyman's dominant heel stable appears to be cracking. In a segment that stunned both live audiences and viewers at home, the legendary manipulator Paul Heyman stood in the ring flanked by Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, his fearsome enforcers, but something felt off. It wasn't just the usual bravado or menacing energy. There was a shift in tone, a subtle unease, a cryptic comment that triggered a ripple of suspicion across the locker room and beyond. Because for the first time since aligning himself with Seth Rollins, Heyman hinted at a major change, one that could alter the entire power structure of WWE. Was this the beginning of a betrayal? Could Seth Rollins, the visionary, the architect, the very man Heyman crowned as the new face of dominance at WrestleMania 41, be on the verge of being cast aside? Tonight, we dive headfirst into this mystery, because what just happened on Raw wasn't just a promo segment, it was a chilling preview of what may become one of WWE's most explosive betrayals in years. Welcome back to Pink Sport, your home for in-depth wrestling analysis, storyline breakdowns, and the real truth behind WWE's most dramatic moments. If you're a WWE fan, you already know the latest episode of Monday Night Raw wasn't just another chapter, it was a game-changer. We're about to dissect a moment that might signal the end of Seth Rollins' reign as the centerpiece of Paul Heyman's faction and the beginning of an entirely new hierarchy built on cold strategy and brutal ambition. So buckle up, because this ride is about to get bumpy. Rewind the clock to WrestleMania 41, a night that rewrote WWE history. The main event, a triple threat war between Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk. At the heart of that chaos was Paul Heyman, the man whose loyalties were constantly questioned. Everyone assumed he would back CM Punk, his longtime friend. Others believed he'd return to the side of Roman Reigns, the original tribal chief. But in a shocking twist that flipped the script, Heyman betrayed them both and handed Seth Rollins the win. That moment birthed a new empire, one that revolved around Rollins and gave Heyman full creative control to build his new dynasty. In the weeks that followed, Rollins' heel faction grew stronger and more dangerous. Braun Breaker, a powerhouse rising star likened to a young Brock Lesnar, joined the group and immediately made an impact by spearing Roman Reigns through a barricade. Not long after, the monstrous Bronson Reed aligned himself with the stable, completing a trio that fans dubbed a modern-day evolution. Together, they laid waste to top-tier names including Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, and even Penta. Rollins stood at the center, confident, cocky, and clutching the 2025 Money in the Bank briefcase. This was his era. Or so we thought. Then came the injury that turned everything on its head. On July 12, 2025, at Saturday night's main event, Rollins went one-on-one with LA Knight in a highly anticipated bout. It was classic Rollins, athletic, high-risk, fearless, until one move changed everything. As he soared into a moonsault, his knee buckled mid-air. He crashed to the mat in agony. The arena went quiet. Medical staff, the referee, and Paul Heyman rushed to his side. Rollins refused to quit, but LA Knight seized the moment, hit a brutal BFT, and scored the pin. The match result was reportedly changed on the fly to protect Rollins. The aftermath was dire. This wasn't just a tweak, it was a re-injury of the same knee that once sidelined Rollins with devastating ACL, MCL, and meniscus damage back in 2015. In the days that followed, WWE's chief content officer Triple H addressed the injury in a press conference, stating that things didn't look good. But it was Paul Heyman's remarks that truly set off alarms. In a backstage interview with Jackie Redmond, Heyman said, "It's too soon to comment on Seth's future, but he has until next June to cash in his Money in the Bank contract." On the surface, it sounded neutral. But dig deeper, and it was clear, Heyman wasn't reassuring fans, he was preparing them. Fast forward to the July 21st episode of Raw. Paul Heyman, Breaker, and Reed stood in the ring delivering a promo, but before they could finish, Roman Reigns' music hit. The crowd erupted. Reigns entered the ring and glared down the men who had once betrayed him. But instead of a fight, fans were stunned when Heyman made a shocking offer. He invited Roman Reigns to join his heel faction, openly stating that Rollins was out indefinitely and the group needed a leader. Reigns looked stunned, disgusted, and flat-out refused. A massive brawl erupted, and Reigns and Jey Uso stood tall by the end, but the damage was already done. Not just physically, but psychologically. Heyman had said out loud what many feared, Seth Rollins might be out for good. The implications are massive. Why would Heyman, who turned his back on Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 41 and orchestrated Seth Rollins' rise to power, now come crawling back to Reigns? The answer is simple: strategy. Heyman is the oracle, always 3 steps ahead. He's not loyal to people, He's loyal to power. He managed Brock Lesnar to world title glory, then abandoned him for Roman Reigns when Lesnar's era waned. When Reigns stumbled, Heyman pivoted to Rollins. Now, with Rollins on the shelf, he's looking for the next breakout force, and that man is Braun Breaker. Heyman has publicly labeled Breaker a future world champion, a WrestleMania main eventer, and the future of WWE. In every promo, in every backstage comment, Heyman is placing the spotlight on Breaker while subtly dimming Rollins' legacy. Bronson Reed, meanwhile, is being framed as the unstoppable muscle that will make Breaker's ascent unstoppable. The writing is on the wall. The betrayal isn't coming, it's already begun. Now let's consider what happens next. Scenario 1, Seth Rollins defies expectations and returns early, possibly at SummerSlam, to cash in his briefcase and reclaim his dominance, only to be stabbed in the back mid-match by Breaker and Reed under Heyman's command. Scenario 2, Heyman makes it official, announcing Rollins' removal and elevating Breaker as the new leader of the faction, igniting a slow-burning feud that will stretch to WrestleMania 42. Scenario 3, Roman Reigns refuses Heyman's offer and instead aligns with Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, and even CM Punk to create a new babyface resistance group determined to dismantle Heyman's empire. Whatever direction this takes, one thing is certain: WWE's creative team is playing the long game. This is not a random injury angle. This is a calculated setup for a seismic shift in WWE's main event landscape. The betrayal of Seth Rollins will not just break a faction, it could redefine power on Monday Night Raw for years to come. So what do you think? Will Seth Rollins fight back to reclaim what was his? Will Braun Breaker rise as the new face of WWE under Heyman's guidance? And is Roman Reigns truly out of the picture, or is he playing his own long game for redemption and revenge? Let us know your theories in the comments, because this storyline is just getting started. And if you're as hooked as we are, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to Pink Sport, and ring the bell so you never miss a single update. We're on the road to 50,000 subscribers, and your support means everything. Drop your predictions below. Will Heyman officially betray Rollins? Who should lead the stable next? And will Seth